What is up, everybody? It is Drake here with DSF Financial, showing you guys the ATM business and how I'm making my money work for me through passive income. Now, obviously, a big question that I had before I started in the ATM business was, is it right for me? I mean, we all have questions when we start something new, right? Whether it's a new job or starting a new school, going back to school maybe, or maybe even starting a new business. We all have those questions and doubts in our mind, and I was the same way before I started in the business. I'm doing this video for you guys to show some of the questions and answers that I came up with. I'm thinking it's going to help some of you guys out. So stay tuned. Now, I've been having some awesome feedback from you guys lately, just about my videos in general and how I've helped you guys. In fact, some have even reached out and asked if I can be their mentor in starting the business, which I really appreciate that, guys. Thank you. And some people have even asked if they can join my course. The only problem is I don't have a course yet. Is that something you guys would be interested in joining a course that I created? I've been asked to advertise a couple other courses previously, and at least the one that I checked out, it was horrendous. Don't obviously want to mention the name because he's got his own grind, but it was no good. It definitely lacked detail. It seemed to skim by everything of importance. If you guys think I should make a course 100% by myself, and with Susie's help, I'm sure, let me know. I put 100% into everything I do, and this would be no different. And because of that, I don't want to put in the time and effort if that wasn't something you guys wanted. So let me know. Now, back to deciding if the ATM business is for you. Figuring out the difficulty of the business, the cost of the business, and the amount of profit that can be gained in the business is some of the biggest questions that I had, and I'm here to answer them for you. Question 1, is the business hard? Now, that's a pretty generic question, right? It can be answered with a simple yes, it's hard, or no, it isn't hard. But it goes a little bit more deeper than that. I read, I listen, and I watch all the time about how easy the ATM business is. It's the most profitable business to get into. It's the best one to get into. With something that sounds too easy, it probably isn't that easy. And I'm going to question it. Now, the business itself is easy. You slap a machine at a location and fill it, and then just watch the transactions come in. To get a little bit more depth to that question, there's a lot more to it. First thing you got to do is get your documents right with the government. Uncle Sam has to get his cut. Make sure you have a tax ID number. Then you have to find a bank. Finding a bank is the difficult part from time to time, just because of the business. Next comes finding a company to get your machine from and to process the transactions to. This part is risky, only because there is a lot of people out there that will scam you, or I don't want to say a lot, but there definitely is a fair share amount of companies out there and people that will try and scam you in the ATM business. So make sure you're cautious. Some companies will throw in tons of hidden fees. They'll have you agree to 5-year contracts where if you want to change, you are screwed. You're locked down for 5 years, and that's not good for you. Next is finding a location to place an ATM. Make sure you have an agreement ready. If you don't have an agreement, click up here for a nice template for you. I'll have it. Have that owner sign an agreement to place an ATM. Then you're going to want to purchase the ATM and the wireless connection, if that's going to be needed. Once again, being careful with the company that you work with is going to be very important when purchasing your ATM machine. You do not want to purchase a used machine without knowing what you're getting into, so I would highly recommend you buy a new machine from a very reputable company. Ask around for people's opinions. Now, you have to install the machine. After you buy the machine, you're going to install it, which is the labor-intensive part of it. If you are going to bolt it down, which I highly, highly recommend you do bolt down the machine, and that's going to take a little bit of time and effort on your part. After installing the machine, you want to go through it to make sure everything is set up properly. Coming from the factory, It does come pre-programmed with whatever you want it programmed with, but testing it, making sure that everything is working properly is going to save you a headache in the long run. So you're going to want to do that as well. Lastly, you're going to want to monitor the machine. You're going to want to fill the machine and monitor the transactions and monitor just the overall health of the machine to make sure there's no build jams, no errors, and the cash doesn't run out. Maintaining the machine after it's been installed is actually pretty easy. You might from time to time have to clear a build jam, but overall, they're pretty self-sufficient. Overall, the business is pretty straightforward. If you have some knowledge from previous experience, you're able to spend a ton of time doing some research and learning the business, you should be able to do it on your own. I know how hard it is to start something from scratch. So like I mentioned earlier, there are mentors out there, people that you can connect with, and they'll help you through the process. But make sure you really do your research if you do choose somebody. You don't want to link up with somebody that doesn't have much knowledge about the business or somebody that's going to screw you over. Picking out a mentor who already has the knowledge can be worth its weight in gold, but do your research. And now on to number 2, the cost of the business. Now, obviously, business cost can fluctuate a lot. If you're opening a pizza joint, that might be a $150,000 startup. If you're starting a lawnmower service, you might just have to buy a lawnmower and a weed whacker. For the ATM business, you can get into it with just the machine and a couple extras, and you're good to go. With each business, they have its pluses and minuses. Questioning the cost of getting into a business is super important. You don't want to get ahead of yourself if you can't sustain the business. With the ATM business, you can buy a machine, run it, and manage it for roughly $4,500, which is not bad to start a business. The cost of the machine is pretty standard, $2,100, $2,200 for a new machine at least. You're gonna pay a monthly fee for the wireless router if your machine has that, which I do recommend just because some location internet connections are not very reliable. You may have different bank fees and processing fees you have to think about, which obviously adds on to the cost of running business. Depending on your location, you also might be needing to cut them a check from time to time for their portion of the surcharge. It just kind of depends on your business model. The only other cost really is the vault cash that you're going to throw in the machine, but it is recycling that money and you can pull the money whenever you want. So I wouldn't consider fully having to put that money in, but it's just something to think about. After several transactions, a couple months, you may be able to add an extra $500 to it to where you don't have to fill it, once every week. You can fill it once every 2 weeks maybe. But that'll take time to kind of decide how that machine is doing and what your ATM fill-up route is going to look like. After you purchase that machine, you run it for a bit, put that surcharge aside as well, and save up to buy another machine. Obviously, the more machines you have, the more profit you're going to be getting. And after your first, second, third, fourth machine, your cost of doing the business is going to be less, because you're not going to have to repurchase the course or mentorship program. It's going to stay pretty consistent for you. Which brings me on to number 3. What is the profit return? How much money are we going to make as a business? Any business, even nonprofits, look at the income that the business is going to bring in. Now, the rule of thumb for us is we want to start getting profit within 5 to 8 months. That would be our goal. For example, let's say a machine costs $2,500. That's with the modem, the install, and the machine. Not starting the business, but just getting a machine ready. At $3 per transaction, we're gonna need 833 transactions to hit that $2,500 mark. Now, if we can get 125 transactions a month, which is a decent location, but it's not a really good one by any means, but a decent location, 125 transactions a month, it would take 8 months to get that $2,500 back. I don't know many other businesses that you can start getting profit within 8 months. Most of the time, they say starting a business, you won't start seeing a return for 3 to 5 years. So that's one of the main reasons why we got into the business. Quick return. Now, if I continue at that 125 transactions a month for the year every year after that, that's 1,500 transactions a year. At $3 a transaction, that's $4,500 a year that I'm getting in passive income. Add on, the second machine, third machine, fifth machine, 10th machine, your passive income can add up very, very quickly if you have the right locations. Now, the profit return on the ATM business is pretty darn good. Would you rather throw money into a savings account and earn 0.005% interest? Or would you like to throw $4,500 into a machine and get that back every year? Like I mentioned before, know what you're talking about. Know what you're getting into. This is gonna allow you to dodge any curveballs that might be thrown your way. So it's good to question things. It's good to wonder if this is the right choice for you. But don't let your mind question yourself out of doing it. I really hope you guys learned a little something from this video and just go for it. Have you guys heard of the saying, birds of a feather flock together? Well, you're in my flock. We are like-minded individuals that are financially conscious and we want to better ourselves and our future. Make sure to subscribe to my channel, guys. Hit that bell notification and like my video. Let's benefit and grow together. Susie decided to join me for the end of the video. We are actually going to tear apart the room here to try and make a better work environment.
Man, we have a lot of work to do.
We kind of do, but it's going to be a good thing. Make sure to revel in the day, guys, but grind like it's Monday. Later.